So, let's see. Just to establish, we already have a second case where Maya is apparently not the client. Our client has been proved possibly guilty of murder because we proved him innocent of larceny. And we're now stuck on the second trial day, though thankfully it starts all over.
Yay!
What is it this time?
You won't believe how many people are here for the trial.
Oh, yeah.
I'll count them up. 1, 12.
The invisible people, Dwibs. Well, it is a murder case.
The national sport.
What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door.
What?
Okay.
Code name
door?
TND. Kid trial next door.
Court next door.
Court next. Yeah, court next door. That has a much better ring to it.
Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmey's trial today.
Oh, yeah, him. Detective Atmey.
They said they're going to try him as mask starter.
More like try at me ass.
Huh, that was actually witty. Good one, Dwibs. You don't have to go to the corner for once.
Boy, I'd love to see this mask starter mask's trial.
I know.
Oh?
By the way, where's Pearls?
Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect training anymore.
I guess.
I know you don't like me.
Is you rehearsing a film speech?
Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh?
Yeah, that incident last year.
Yeah, that one.
Please, don't ignore me!
Who can
Then
ignore you?
speak up!
Well, sure, when he speaks up, then he tends to go to the complete opposite. Oh, no one likes me. No one would notice me even if I killed someone.
Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec.
You don't mean you're the murderer?
Hey, come on, he was all-
No! I'm just a poor thief!
He was just making an analogy. Come on, Phoenix. Jeez.
Just
No,
a poor
wait,
boy,
that's not right.
nobody
A
loves
thief
me.
can't be poor. Now, let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heists.
There's a connection between the thief and the murder.
As
Who
much
knows?
as I think that there's a connection between the sacred urn and the murder, it's possible. Today's trial is a race against the clock.
Why don't I do this before?
Whatever the hell is happening.
How come? Let's just take our time like always.
Sure.
Maya,
Let's
I'm afraid that's not an option.
What do you mean?
You'll see.
Hmm?
Let's just say if you thought that all the changes to the usual status quo shocked you, you have not seen anything yet.
We have executive meddling, don't we?
Oh.
Court is now in
Oh.
session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight.
I wish it
yeah,
was
get
just
my thought already.
executive meddling. Anyway, the defense is ready, Your Honor.
You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
You know, Maya, I just
Look,
realized...
Aristoteles, we are in a fucking trial. Moving on.
Okay, settle down everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godo.
You know, Maya, I just realized this is the first time in years since your sister defended me that I've heard this trial opening theme. Huh, wonder what happened to it.
Ron Delight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. The judge can't understand it. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godo.
Yes.
Then you need to get out more, Your Honor.
Oh,
But according
Yeah.
to the Mungant, he goes to swim.
Life is war. But that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording.
Wow, that describes this year so well.
That's all my statement means. You understand now, right?
Actually, no.
Yes. Well then, let me briefly summarize the details of the case. This case, rather.
Yes. Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. Character
So you're
development.
embarrassed face, then. The victim is
That's
Kane
very
Bullard, CEO of KB,
suspicious.
CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. Like, why am I doing your job, Godo? Shut up and read. Yes, sir. However, the time of death was estimated at 1 a.m. of the previous day.
Alright.
And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball.
Oh boy.
That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant. Also, I apologize to all Americans everywhere.
Eh? Oh, it's okay.
Very well then, Mr. Godot. Please call your first witness. Oh. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial.
Your
Well,
teeth.
We're going to
let's-
let you up to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's try breaking the record. Come
But
on.
the first one is always the best.
Why is it that all these prosecutors have a record of sorts that we have to break?
Mr. Godot, your witness?
You know, Phoenix is to start to actually try to get his own record or something.
Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight, has to
Oh,
say.
come
for
on,
himself.
no gumshoe exposition.
The
Sorry.
defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? Yeah, Gumshoe got stuck in traffic.
I guess another salary cut.
It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but
Yeah, you couldn't afford the petrol to get to work. Eh?
If
never
I
mind the
remember,
petrol, he can't afford his
Oh.
own shoes.
I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then.
And you were a complete jackass, so might as well try.
We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify. Oh hey, I came around eventually.
You've got guts, try. All right then, Mr. Ron Delight, please take the stand. But I'm already here. Take the stand. Oh,
Number
shit.
3.
You did it, didn't you?
Yes.
Well,
What?
that's a short trial.
No! That's not true!
Guilty. Hmm. For a moment there, I thought we set the record for the shortest trial ever.
And
One karma will be so jealous.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the afterlife, Manfred von Karma is sighing a breath of relief.
Well, Mr. Delight already went.
Well, would you feel happy if you were in his position? Wait, why am I even asking you this? You've been in that position already.
2 times.
Several times.
And once he opens his big mouth, that may be the last nail in his coffin.
Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? What did you
Depends.
use for the... If you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security? Also, what weapon did you use?
Oh, I used a. Hey! Well, that's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home.
No. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened.
This guy clearly is not capable of being examined in a court.
Yeah.
Well, Shiroi, we gotta try.
A trial?
Ugh.
Okay,
That
Nicole.
evening, around
Yes,
1
please.
a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there.
Sure.
I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was.
Did I already make that pig joke in this commentary?
I don't know, I don't remember, and I probably don't care. Moving on.
1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place. The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up.
Pretentious narration!
And
Actually,
gold.
pretentious dialogue.
It's bitter today, too. Just
Well,
like
let's-
my destiny.
Let's face it, Pedro. Wouldn't be felt out of place in one of those 13-2 intros from one of the dungeons.
Actually, I'm gonna be fair here.
You never know that from the way he's chugging it
no.
down.
Takumi ain't got shit on Toriyama in terms of pretentiousness tale. So
True,
Yeah.
true. I rest my case.
Cross-examination, if you please.
To be fair, Goto's metaphors actually do have some sense, whereas
Not just that,
Toriyama's...
not just that, I'm pretty sure the pseudo philosophy of his stuff is not meant to be taken seriously anyway. So
That too. 1 a.m. You're absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was also a bit...
1 a.m. That's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered, correct?
yes.
It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure.
True. Wait,
Depends.
who goes for a coffee date at 1 a.m.?
Ding!
Actually-
Oh boy, 1 a.m. Glug, 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 glug.
You'll be surprised, Jovah. The night owls are many in the world.
It was the first time I'd gotten the blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere.
Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then?
Well, oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this or take that. Hold it! Why don't you save those for later, Mr. Delight? Please don't say any more. Now, what should I do?
Press on, even though you just told me to shut up.
So, what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring $50,000.
Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder.
But wait! Wait!
What?
Look what my hair can do, and I never intended to pay that money anyway.
I'm not sure that's a good thing.
That right?
Well, it was blackmail, so... After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I have nothing to be afraid of.
An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony.
Alright then.
Yes, Yuri?
Uh.
Yes, sir.
What'd you say,
Sorry,
Sheila?
Shirley.
Oh, I said him at 12:45.
Okay, we're almost there.
Okay.
Okay, and click.
A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do.
Probably.
What's
The blackmail, Fred, didn't scare me. I wasn't going to... Hold it! Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway?
the blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
Yes. God dang it.
Jovah?
But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullet didn't have anything on me.
He didn't.
Browser slowed down on me all of a sudden. Just as long as Desi believes in me.
I believe in Ron.
So
I
that's
believe
why
in
Mr.
Santa Christ
Light.
always.
So that's why Mr. Light didn't believe he was Strata-mask. And that's why I knew that they were just hollow threats. I've been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. Hold it! You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yes, that's right.
A security chief? You?
I always seem to get that reaction from everyone I tell.
And yet, a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say?
Jesus Christ, this prosecutor leaps at every chance he gets. This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job.
And it turns into the prison where he keeps saying, that's none of your business.
Well...
The world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that.
Okay then, in that case...
Defendant, please answer the question.
Well, I needed money.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
You needed money?
Yes, that's what tends to be hard to come by. Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby.
Not exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. My salary wasn't nearly enough. So, I stole data from the company. Come again.
So fraud now?
KV Security
Apparently.
has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies.
Well, you're
Also,
screwed then.
also sheer potential industrial espionage.
And since I was a security team chief...
You stole some data and sold it.
Well, here's the good news, guys. He can't get charged with it because his boss is dead.
Well, that's
Oh,
That's
which
not nice,
kind of
Bill.
makes him look even more guilty. What? I wish
and also
I
he
had
didn't
never
mention
asked
this
that.
thing with Phoenix before this fucking trial. Jeez.
I
Yeah.
was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I had quit on my own.
What is it, Nick? You don't look so good.
What do you think?
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. Basic logic, duh. You do well to remember that.
Oh boy.
We should have told you.
Thank you, Maya.
Says the convicted criminal. So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct?
Maya didn't do anything.
Yet.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony.
Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse, crashed and blew up.
With no survivors.
It's gonna take the jaws of life to
Sorry.
rip this case from the clutches of disaster. He fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi doesn't know about that.
She knows now.
Hold it! Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby, what else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste!
So, Mrs. Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she?
So it would seem.
Well, yeah,
He's
again,
very
now
good at keeping secrets for this long.
I know, right?
I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets.
Well then,
Yeah.
Maya, you probably wouldn't like a lot of the Marvel Universe's philosophy of, I can't let anyone know, therefore I can never have a loving relationship.
please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright.
That kind of thing is so stupid.
Yeah,
So does.
There wasn't much to his testimony, was there?
sounds like he's avoiding something. At least, that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, at least most comic book films these days avoid that kind of shit.
Thank
True.
goodness.
I've got
Don't we all,
I've
Maya?
got to be careful.
Don't we all? But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans,
Beans, yummy.
we'll never get closer to the truth. Which is the most important thing.
Truly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, da. Hmm.
So what to present? Oh.
Objection! Huh! Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match up with what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared. Very scared. Of having a certain person find out your secret.
Oh boy.
A certain person.
A certain person. Mrs. Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. Whoa! But I...
He'll be ex-wife at this point.
Listen to me, my Tessie, she's...
Divorcing your ass.
Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins.
Godo!
Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault. What do you mean? Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired.
Mm-hmm.
Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him.
Why, yes, that's a very good motive for... Oh, crud.
And that is how this murder came about.
Oh.
Ooh.
Judge, for once, don't think about that! No, everything is falling neatly into place for him!
Well, crap.
So now what?
Don't talk about my Desi like that!
I will.
I never hit her, that's bullshit.
Or you'll be sorry! Oh, no. Ron, man, you really love your wife. Maybe a bit too much.
It seems we've learned a great deal of things here so far.
Yeah.
Pedro, I think you need to fill in.
What do you think, Nick?
We're fucked.
I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Hey, that actually fits with this video's time since we started the trial about 2 minutes in. And we're at 22.
Clearly, there was sufficient motive for murder.
Clearly.
Uh-oh. Usually that's a good thing when I'm proving the witness did it.
He stole data for his wife and he killed to protect his secret.
Makes sense.
A family man who cared just a little too much.
Yeah, what he said.
So he's a better family guy than Peter Griffin in spades.
Oh, the motive is clear. Let's move on.
Which is sad.
No, sure. He's a better family guy than Peter Griffin in spades. That's a good thing.
I said that's a good thing.
You said...
We're moving
What
on.
happened at the
Okay.
crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight?
No. Never mind.
Come now, tell us. We're all ears.
It was when you said
I'm
it was
tired.
sad, it sounded like it was a bad thing. Anyway, at the CEO's office. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there.
What?
Suddenly,
What?
I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a little
Sounds like a light
dazed.
bulb just popped.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed.
That.
Yes, that. When I came to, Mr. Bowen was lying there, dead.
Nah, he just passed out after a drunk party.
But then that would mean that I'd killed him when I put him in the safe.
I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, eh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony.
Actually, that was the back of his head.
He said Bastard Demar struck him on the head from behind.
Lots of
Forehead
people
is
getting
not-
bludgeoned.
Of course, since Atme turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie.
That
Yeah.
was bullshit. I did not hit him. No one's gonna believe a pathetic lie like that.
Godo, that's usually my line. What are you saying? I really was attacked!
We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination. Now stop acting like a wussy. Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
Jesus.
You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godo. Confident face, Phoenix. Confident face. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it.
I believe in Ron Delight.
Hold it! Who was this suspicious shadow? If there were 1,000 of me, and if even one knew, I'd tell you. Trust me.
This dodging a lot of questions is not helping us
He's
win this
dodging.
case.
Oh,
Oops.
Oh no, Maya's got two voices again.
Oh,
Maya's possessed.
again. Even though she
You're
looks
not-
like herself.
Well, remember, Maya's still a shitty spirit medium at this point, so she may be spirit channeling me by accident.
Of course. that
Are you
makes
dead,
sense.
Pedro?
Hey, Teo, can you prove that I'm not?
So he was a yokai all
Truly,
wrong.
on the internet, no one who you really are.
No,
Can
don't you see?
prove you're alive?
No. Don't you see, guys? Pedro was a yokai all along, and that's why he loves Yokai Watch so much. It understands him.
No, not just that. Teo, I'm about to blow your mind. I'm not dead. Turns out I was never alive.
Anyway, back to the cross-examination.
Yeah, better.
Before we cause a time paradox and invent the latent crossover years too early.
Hold it! When you came to... Yes, I was passed out in the corner of the room.
When you came to, a phrase which here means I woke up, you bloody moron, Mr. Wright.
I'm afraid I don't really remember.
Yeah, I'm
Huh?
on a bit of an unfortunate event spin drop out now.
Once they hit me, I lost all track of what was going on.
We all did.
Yeah. I think that's when they made their escape.
Ha! That's certainly a convenient story for you, isn't it?
Again, that's usually my line.
It certainly is, isn't it, Mr. Wright? It almost sounds practiced.
Wow, the judge actually thinks that I have time to practice stuff with my witnesses. Wait a minute, I don't know why you're telling me.
we heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
actually telling the truth
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, well, they were rehearsing this, they were reading the script.
I bet you're still hiding something.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll just have to draw it out of him.
I just hope he doesn't make things any
Thank goodness Black
more
Cyclops.
complicated.
Hey Pedro.
Huh?
Knowing what the secret is, thank goodness Black Cyclops weren't invented yet.
Yeah.
Hold it! Your forehead? Hair forehead?
Don't start that, please, Mr. Wright.
It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack. Do you remember anything about who hit you?
Johnny?
Well, like I said, it was a fast and powerful hit. So I think I was a little dazed for a while and didn't get to see who did it.
Yeah, headcanon, he was a cool man, he actually threw a raging demon.
Yeah.
I don't even think Mr. Delight even grasped what you were asking.
Yeah, I'd like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself.
Jesus.
Maybe that would knock some sense back into him.
Phoenix,
Surprised Jovah didn't use the obligatory claim from Ultimate in Marvel 3.
wait about 6 to 7 years. You have plenty of time then.
Hold it! You know, I actually didn't think about it at the time. Why, my mask started mask costume, of course. That's what that was.
Wait just a moment. Master de Mask?
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before?
Ah, here we go again.
Just to be on the safe side, I dressed up as Mask Star to Mask.
Going through this song and dance again.
Well, actually, Dibs, we already found out that he is the real Mask Star to Mask in the last part. And then, I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security.
What?
Nick, did you know about this? You never told me this.
No, we never told even
No.
to Phoenix.
Believe it or not, though, that'll come in handy big time. I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either. Godo?
Even I didn't know that.
Wow.
It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets.
There,
Yeah.
Godo, let it
It's
all out.
getting more and more confusing as time passes.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Oh, wait.
You did, didn't you?
That's not right. You know how sometimes things just slip your mind? All
Oh.
too well, Mr. Delight.
My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly.
Oh, remember that
Oh,
line
bad,
too.
Bad stuff.
At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony. Now!
Yes, Your Honor. I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my mask costume. Hold it! Why were you dressed up as Mask Star Damask? Why, because I'm Mask Star Damask, of course.
Oh, gosh, we're doing this again.
What are you talking about? Master Tomas' trial is being held next door.
Remember, Tio, the court doesn't know the truth yet.
Alright, I forgot
yes.
it's actually the truth.
I guess so. Anyway, at that time, again, feelings of Ron Delight really changed as soon as you learn the fact that he really was Mask Star Damask. I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mask Star Damask cases, so I thought I should go as him, just to be safe. Oh boy. Although I do admit he does look cooler in the costume. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected.
Well, that's why Edna Mode doesn't do capes anymore.
Yeah.
Try to remind me that quote from The Incredibles.
No capes!
No.
Which one?
Very. Yeah, the one that Jovah just mentioned.
Yeah.
What do you mean by took a bit longer? Or a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course! My cape got caught on the safe door, you see.
There we go.
This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body.
You didn't mention it before, though.
Well, he mentioned it to us in the detention
I know, but
center.
not to the court. There we
What
go.
was that? Back up a second.
Yes?
You were the one that hid the body in the safe.
Yes?
You idiot!
Well...
Inconceivable! Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking?
I love how the judge is so beside himself.
Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine?
When your sexy theme plays?
What?
Maybe.
The answer is simple. When they take them off.
That's 7 cups already, guys.
As usual, I have no idea what you're saying.
Hope you don't have to go to the bathroom from playing Godo, Dwibs. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer?
So you're not as stupid as you look. Well, I've only got this one bottle, Jovah, but it should last me the part.
Ah.
His metaphor this time was really obscure.
And a bit innuendo, truly.
Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you?
Oh, well, yes.
I'm surrounded by... Why am I the only one not in the loop here?
That's your job, Judge. You're supposed to represent the audience who are playing this game.
Witness, make sure you add this to the testimony. I've got half a mind to give you a penalty, Mr. Wright.
Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Looks like a storm front is moving in over the fair-weather judge.
And you shut up too.
That's mental speak. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. Wow.
Well, I guess it was a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not well. I think Joe's gonna try and find something.
Objection!
There you go.
Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record?
The broken record you keep dropping every time. And what might this be?
The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security.
Oh, you brought the button with you.
It's a big red button, Your Honor. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. Oh!
Please, Maya, do not demonstrate.
Oh, also if you press this button, it may or may not create for you a 3D platformer beat-em-up game for the Wii U.
What?
Can't guarantee on the quality, though. If Mr. Rondelite truly was the murderer, ha! He would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded! After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. You can tell I'm serious because...
Objection! Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there were security personnel in the building.
Oh,
Excuse
really? Objection! Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as chief of security.
Yeah.
There's no way he wouldn't have known about them. You can tell I'm serious because the Tell the Truth theme is playing.
Objection! But, as it turns out, the guard never came.
But no one came.
That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser who had just gotten punched in the face by his
Well, he
ex's
is.
new boyfriend
Phoenix, details, come on.
and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity was not something Mr. Delight could have known.
It's a good thing he's not in the audience.
Objection! Again, remember who we're dealing with here.
Let off some steam, Godo.
It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off. And if you keep this up, I'll throw steam in your face.
Objection! Well, get ready for this then. This buzzer is extremely loud. There's no way he couldn't have ignored something like that. Allow me to throw you an objection and raise one. Like a game of poker. If he had been conscious, that is.
Conscious? What do you mean by that?
Eight.
Fine. Let's hear your theory.
I'm glad you asked. Remember the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed.
I'm confused.
I'm willing to wager he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes.
Unconscious? So he fainted? Rondelai fainted. Phoenix is out of usable witnesses. Phoenix, white it out.
And that's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. That's why he thought he had time to hide the body.
So what are you trying to say?
Again, I'm glad you asked. Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Let's put two and two together. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious,
Someone might have moved his hand.
it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right, whoever it was that knocked out Ron Delight, and then pressed the buzzer.
Order in the court! Mr. Wright, this is...
Amazing, a miracle.
Repulse
Take your
rules.
pick.
Objection! This is preposterous! It was this kid! Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Bullard.
Well then, the burden of proof is in your court. Objection! Then who pressed the buzzer?
That girl did. It was
John Cena.
the victim, of course.
Oh, okay, now that's grasping at rules. Come on.
It was actually Brett Keane.
He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button.
Ah! Let me check the autopsy
Really?
report. Well, crud, his death was not immediate. No updated autopsy report needed.
So Kane Bullard sounded the buzzer himself. What is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright?
I'm surprised at how fairly my opponent is playing for once. I mean, I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene. But how? Can I prove that it wasn't Kane Bullard who sounded the buzzer? Yeah. The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim that sounded the buzzer.
You.
No, not me again. Though I am a useful piece of evidence with my fingerprints. It's this! Take that! I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for.
The emergency buzzer?
Again.
Is that some kind of clue?
Absolutely not.
Hey, come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth.
The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue.
Now I'm the one who's clueless.
What else is new? This button has no fingerprints on it.
How high can we have the ding thing go off?
Pretty high, actually. If Mr. Bullard had really pressed it himself, naturally he would have left his fingerprints behind.
Hang on a second.
Wow. Objection!
Objection! Ron Delight obviously wiped them off.
Objection! Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
Well, maybe your visor can show off the many possibilities. Objection! The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Masked Star Mask. And Masked Star Mask always wears gloves. What reason could he possibly have had to wipe the button free of fingerprints?
Maybe those gloves were really shit.
Hey, Goto, maybe your visor can project onto us your thoughts of the scenario.
Order! Order! Order!
It would seem.
Here's your coffee, you baby.
I've been forced to eat crow.
Is it 9 or 10?
11, actually.
Oh, jeez.
However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer?
That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
question.
Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger?
That's a good point, Your Honor.
Phoenix.
What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
It looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks.
Should I?
They're on to you, Nick.
Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. Okay.
What time are you guys at?
43, 47,
48,
48,
49.
49.
What they say, yeah.
What about you, Shiroi?
I'm behind.
Okay, go ahead to 44:15. You there?
I'm at 44:30.
Okay, the killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. On, off.
Very charming. We get it, Jovah. Thank you.
Come on, Pedro.
Even though security was supposed to be responding right away, the buzzer was pressed.
Pretty shitty security.
Security
Alright, get
was
ready,
supposed to
Shiroi,
respond.
and 3, 2, 1, go. Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say.
Very well, then.
Oh ho, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent.
Thank you.
Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer?
The killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running.
Oh, hopping.
And that was exactly what they wanted.
Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose?
What a turn of events, eh? Yes. Although, as it turned out, he never showed up.
Because he was getting his
Because he
question.
was getting cleaned at the time.
Hey,
Yeah.
Maya.
What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in.
Drinking that much coffee is disgusting.
No.
Well, I don't like
I'm not.
coffee anyway, so...
Coffee's good, but Lord, if you drink too much of it, you better have a strong body to withstand the consequences.
Yeah.
He's probably used to it at this point.
Maybe his hair being white has something to do with that. The defendant, Ron Delight, was out cold. And the third person, the real killer.
Gee, I wonder what that silhouette means.
I wonder.
Hypothetically, yes.
Now then. In this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron Delight. And if any security guards came running in at that time, oh dear, they would think that I was the murderer.
Oh shit.
Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron Delight for the murder.
Oh, better get ready.
Here we go.
How are you holding up, Dwibs?
Don't worry, Shiwa, it's juice I'm drinking.
Okay.
It would seem.
Love how he took his time to drink and then spit it out.
And there's another
I've
drink.
been made to eat my words once again.
I'm thankful I'm not drinking cider at the moment.
Yeah, you'd be pissed.
Actually, you've been made to do a spit take with a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Like Futurama did this joke.
Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait.
His
Wait, what?
wife?
Wait
Maybe?
a second. I'm the one and only mask start a mask, so
The real killer is.
we're
The
not
judge.
saying who it is, just
The
for the
judge.
player to have to try and figure it out. We're going to drag that person in here right now.
At me?
Wait and
But-
see, Shiroi.
But who is it?
Let's just say it's a
But
person.
why?
I don't have any solid proof yet. That's basically the game's way of telling you, like, yeah, pick that person. We don't have the proof yet, but it'll come eventually. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and that he had been called to KD security that night. Like, let's just say this is one of Phoenix's biggest bluffs ever. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to execute Mr. Bullard.
Now then, let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Underline for the murder of Kenny Bullard?
Alright, let's see.
Mia.
Not me.
Mia.
Dodo?
Go yourself.
What? No.
Desiree?
Larry.
Ron framed
Ron.
himself.
Gumshoe? Pearl?
Pearl.
Definitely.
It was
Take
Pearl.
that!
Pearl did it.
Detective Luke at me! He's the only one who could have done it.
Well, hey, if a baby can shoot Mr. Burns, then...
He's
Look at
detective.
me!
You mean Master Mars did it?
Uh-oh. Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Mask Stardamask at all. Ha!
What a twist.
He is in actuality the true murderer of Kane Bullard.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, explain yourself!
Now here's where things get interesting. Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime?
Then they're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course.
So guys, remember how you thought Luke Atme was
Chronicle
the...
now.
Remember how you guys thought Luke Atme was the bad guy in the first part?
Is a capital crime subject to a capital punishment?
You fell for it. That's exactly what he wanted you to think.
Okay.
Well, fuck you too.
You see, sure, she can be found. Okay, yeah, my villains may be predictable. Well, okay then, let's have it. Albeit that I'll actually fool you with that.
Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as well as masked star to mask.
Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. And think about it. With that, not only is he shown as a famous thief, an ace detective and all that, he gets the fame and just has a temporary sentence.
To be found guilty.
Yep. What a masterful bastard of a plan. Mask Star Damask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. So think about it, guys. Luke Atme did what no other Ace Attorney villain thought to do and used Phoenix's own talent against him.
Okay.
Being found guilty as Mask Star Damask was Luke Atme's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi.
A guilty verdict? As an alibi?
Genius, I guess.
Yep.
Well, it worked. Well, nearly.
Oh boy, did it ever.
And track! What? Huh? Ooh, what?
Pretty much sums up the
The
reactions.
right has no idea. well, yeah, rubies can be that thick. You know, it's almost time.
For your 17th cup, I guess.
For Luke Atme's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial after all. I can clearly see it even though there are no screens here.
Your visor.
If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course.
Uh-oh.
That's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder.
Oh boy. About that.
Mr. Luke Atme's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country.
More to how this will be Phoenix's rise to fame, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, infamy, but still. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime,
Uh-oh.
Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for appeal.
And that would not be good. Am I really sure about this?
And you'll be the laughingstock of the whole country, Mr. Wright. But more so than you are. Ha.
Oh boy.
But that's only good when your life's the ante.
Hence why most of these cases are murder. Mr. Wright, I believe in you.
Well, that's good to know.
You know, if you believed in me, you could have just shut up in the last trial so we could just end this a day sooner.
Well, to be fair, Pedro, if he'd shut up in the last trial, then he would have been found innocent, and, well, being found innocent of being Masked Star Damask wasn't his plan, because, well, look where it got him. Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this?
What other choice do you have?
What?
Sorry?
Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Beware.
What was that?
Who do you
Yep.
think? Don't stray, Phoenix.
Don't stray, Phoenix.
Ooh.
This is your client. Take the path of trust.
Take the path of trust.
I don't think Mia's all about that.
That voice! It sounds like... Mia!
Because Maya ain't
Your Honor! The defense requests an immediate recess!
No. So that's your answer, huh?
Oh yeah.
Actually, that's kind of how it always worked here, Godo.
Very well. I've decided as well. I need a quick break to find out the rugby scores. This court will now take a 20-minute recess.
Shut up about it.
Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke at me to the stand.
Yes, Your Honor. Oh boy, I've always wanted to burst into another court and interrupt it. Okay, get ready, Tio. And Pedro.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, hi, Payne.
Hi.
He's about to win.
Well, Sir Detective Atomy. I had to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. So who's the defense attorney for this one?
We don't know.
Sir, not appearing in this game.
Detective Atomy, you're the one who...
That's enough, yeah?
What the?
Yep, we have a new judge now.
That looks like a banana.
This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial, eh? This court finds the defendant. Look at me.
This is very...
It's very strange, isn't it?
Hold it! Wait! Sorry, Payne.
Sorry to interrupt your trial, but...
Don't hand down your verdict yet, please!
Well, well, Sir Lawyer, welcome to my courtroom.
It's
Oh,
not
dude.
your court. Who's this loser, eh?
Hoser. Hoser.
What the hell?
That's a Canadian word.
Who's this hoser? Yeah, hoser.
My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. That's a thing Canadians say. And I wish to file an accusation against this man. Look at me.
We should be asking to the Canadians of the SSMB. Accusation? You accuse Mask of the Mask.
That man is not Mask Start a Mask.
Poor Payne. Even when his trials are not involving Phoenix, he gets...
He's a ruthless murderer.
What?
Sorry, Payne, we can't let
That's
you win
right,
this
sir.
one.
Defense attorney in this.
A really cruddy one to lose to Payne.
Again, it's Sir not appearing in this game. Of course he's crummy.
To be continued.
It's Apollo's
okay.
first day.
Of course.
No, I got it. Actually, I got it. Headcanon. It's Apollo Justice's older, less talented brother.
Chin.
Chin Justice.
Let's just say that doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Okay, maybe his cousin?
Yeah, let's just say there's no way it's a relative of his, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Alright, then see you for the real trial, I guess.
Oh
See ya.
yeah, the real battle begins. And again, apologies to Payne for taking another victory away from you.
See you, everybody.
See ya.